Hi there, I'm Miles here. This is going to be a pacifist's review of a quest mod for Skyrim Special Edition called the Grey Cowl of Nocturnal. And if you remember the Grey Cowl of Nocturnal from Oblivion, it was the reward at the very end of the Thieves Guild questline in Oblivion. So if you do remember that sort of thing, you might be exactly the sort of person this mod is for. It really helps if you've played Oblivion. That's not to say that it can't be enjoyed by people who haven't played Oblivion, but the story very much is to do with what happened to the Grey Cowl. More specifically, what happened to the player character really in Oblivion, and it's all about getting that Grey Cowl of Nocturnal, which is the reward at the end of this quest as well. As a Thieves Guild quest reward, this definitely is something that's very much playable by pacifists, at least the thieving kind of pacifist. It's epic in length. It's really long. Some of the quests even have bonus rewards for completing the missions without killing anyone. You will be encouraged to think like a thief in the quest, but you don't actually have to commit any crimes, so it's okay actually if you're a non-criminal pacifist, although like in Oblivion, once you do get the reward at the end, that will also get you a substantial bounty. It sort of gives you an alternative personality, which you can use to associate with your crimes. And so guards will be hostile to you if they see you with the cowl on. So as far as pacifist potential is concerned, this mod is definitely a 10 out of 10. In overall review, I like the mod, definitely. It's also got some weak spots, like the voice acting ranges from the very good to the absolutely horrible. You will start off with a long linear dungeon or set of dungeons, to be honest. There are lots of puzzles in that dungeon, and not all those puzzles were really to my liking, though of course your mileage may vary on that sort of thing. But maybe it felt like the linear dungeon was a little bit too long, and perhaps also, the basic premise here is that there are people around who have been basically, there's an organization that's been doing really nothing except wait for the Dragonborn to come claim the Grey Cowl of Nocturnal for 200 years. And that premise seems a little bit far-fetched for me, even though, well, actually, there's a revelation at the very end of the mod that makes it seem a little bit more likely, though that don't really give that the exposition that they could have to make this more believable. Anyway, I felt like that the dungeon crawl was maybe a little bit too long, but what I would say to you if you're going to play the mod is stick with it, because at the end of that dungeon crawl, which is very linear, you will then have opened up a really nice world space. You basically get to explore a part of the Alakir Desert, and that was really fun. It had like a special atmosphere. There are red god tombs with undead, and there are sands and sand creatures. I just loved exploring that place. There's also a lot of really atmospheric music that sets the mood perfectly for that area, in my mind anyway. I would recommend the mod. I would give it overall maybe a 7 or an 8 out of 10. It is good, and it is completely pacifist friendly. So if you're looking for a mod to make a new pacifist character with, you could do it with this one. Although, one big caveat, you will probably want to have some of your pacifist levels leveled up, pacifist skills, leveled up a bit before you start off the quest. Like it's a thieves quest. It expects you to be able to sneak and maybe go invisible and pickpocket. Not to worry though, I did this quest perfectly well with a character who'd never done any pickpocketing before really. I think she started with a pickpocketing skill of 90, and that's perfectly okay. And I don't, well, at late stages you might need to be able to sneak or go invisible, so you don't necessarily need sneak either. You do need some sort of illusion, but if you like to go invisible and otherwise basically just maybe calm enemies down, you can do that in this quest as well. So definitely recommended for pacifists.